Fingers crossed nothing burns down. We got the fire extinguisher right here. It's not every day you have the opportunity to buy your dream car and go with your best friend to pick it up. So when I bought this Audi R8 in New York on Christmas Eve, I knew I had to take this opportunity. I grabbed my truck, my buddy's trailer, and we drove out 20 hours to New York to pick up this wrecked Audi R8. After successfully getting in contact with the previous owner, we found out that this Audi R8 was involved in a hit and run accident. Thankfully, other than this dent in the pillar, the car had no structural damage. The framework is finished on the R8, and man, it turned out amazing. I am so grateful to my friend Serge. He does an incredible job every single time. Not many people know how to weld with aluminum. This guy does, and let me tell you, he does an amazing, amazing job. Before we get to wrapping this whole entire car up, we need to address one major issue: the leaking valve cover on the driver's side. In the last video, we saw the car was smoking pretty heavily just from idling for a couple of minutes, and my guess is that oil is leaking from the valve cover gasket, getting onto the exhaust, and then burning up. Don't want that to catch on fire. So we got a new gasket from Audi. Surprisingly, this was only $66 from the dealer. This is gonna be the first time I've ever worked on an Audi engine. Let's hope it goes smoothly. I am no mechanic and no professional, but there is a YouTube video out there on how to do this valve cover job. So if someone else can do it, why can't I? We start by disconnecting the fuel line, disconnecting the oil PCV hoses, disconnecting this, I'm not really sure what it is, vacuum type thing, this other PCV valve. And next, we need to take out the coil packs, disconnect the coil packs, and then take out all the bolts so we can take the cover off. Out comes the first coil pack. And honestly, this thing looks pretty healthy. Based off the Carfax, these were replaced about 10 or 20,000 miles ago. Just taking these bolts out alone was an absolute pain because we didn't only have to do the top row and the middle row, there's a row all the way at the bottom that we had to do, and there's a bolt all the way back there that has this metal thing right in the way and the frame, and there's absolutely no way to get to this bolt. So I had to basically grab this T30 tool and unscrew it with my fingers. That was terrible, but it looks like the whole cover is loose and it's ready to come off. And after a little bit of finesse, we had success. Yes! Woohoo! Keep in mind, I have never worked on an engine on a car in my life. This is the first time working on an engine, and for it to be on an Audi R8, man, let me tell you, that was nerve-wracking. But we got it all off. Look at this. Here is the bottom side of the cover, and there is the engine. If you look down on this bottom section right here, you can see there's oil all along the edge, which tells me that the seal was leaking all around the edges. It looks like the seal was just going bad everywhere. This should be the problem and the solution. This old gasket is really caked in here. I was just trying to pull it out and it would break at every single little point. Definitely overdue for a change. Before we put in the new gasket, we're just gonna spray down with some brake parts cleaner so that it's nice and clean. There's no old oil on the cover. Now we got the cover seated back in place. Torque down the bolts to 9 Newton meters. Put in the coil packs. Connect the coil packs. Connect the PCV oil lines and the fuel line. And just like that, everything is wrapped up in the car. Let's give it a first start. Before starting the car, want to make sure that the fuel line connection is good and it's not spraying fuel all over the place. It looks like it starts. The car is rough idling a little bit, not sure why. I'm trying to look for any signs of leaks. I think it looks pretty good so far. I'm really hoping we fixed it. You guys, for once we finally got some good news. If you look on that gauge right there, you can see that the car is pretty much up to temps and there is no smoke. Let's go. Now that we got the oil leak issue figured out, let's move on to the interior. This whole entire interior, I mean, right now it looks like it's fine, but behind all of that, it was taken apart so that we would be able to do this framework. We got to put that together and then move on to the back. In 20 minutes, we got the interior looking like this to this, and that's job done. Next, let's put this car together just enough so we can drive it legally on the road. Got to make sure we have the rear lights. And this rear section holds the camera. Now, there's no way to know if this camera is sitting upright or upside down. So honestly, I'm just giving a guess here, putting it on. Let's see if I got it right the first try. Ah, it's upside down.
Nope, it was a 50-50 shot and we still got it wrong.
Now we have one last piece to put on the car, and that is the rocker panel. Fits up nice. The only problem is that this corner piece is cracked, and it was not cracked in the eBay pictures. I looked in the boxes that the part came in, and there was no extra piece. If that little piece, that corner piece was there, I could have just glued it together and called it a day. But it wasn't there, so I hit up the eBay seller. I bought this part about 4 months ago. The return date was closed over a month ago, but I still DM'd them and said, hey guys, this part came in, it was broken, it was not broken in the pictures, and the piece is not in the shipping, so it must have been shipped out broken or something, I don't know. What can you guys do about it? They just sent me a straight refund. So, shout out to Gold Auto Parts. If you guys are looking for parts for your exotic, hit them up. I actually went on eBay today and found another rocker panel, so that's ordered up, and that'll be coming in next week. But that's pretty much it. The car is put together enough to where we can drive it on the road to the paint shop. So let's go and give it its first proper test drive. Okay, so the car is definitely still smoking. I pulled it outside and it's still smoking. My thought process is that it's the old oil that's on the exhaust and it's burning off, but it's been burning off for like over 10 minutes now. So I don't know that the valve cover gasket was the thing that was leaking in the first place and that maybe I have to replace something else. But what I do know is that I still need to drive this car. So fingers crossed nothing burns down. We got the fire extinguisher right here just in case. Let's give it a rip. All right, we're about to take this thing out on the highway. It's still smoking quite a bit. I really want to get to the shop faster. Oh my gosh, the whole engine bay is like filled with white smoke. This is not good. Yeah, thank you, bro. These are my first impressions. Honestly, the car drives really smooth. It's surprisingly quiet. It drives like an Audi. It's very solid, very straight. When I let go of the steering wheel, the car just feels solid. I know it's really not that big of a car, and it doesn't feel like a big car. The suspension is great. The bumps, like the suspension isn't too stiff. I haven't tried the mag ride yet, and I know that's supposed to stiffen up suspension, but yeah, first impressions are this thing is pretty dang nice. One big plus I will say right away, the AC works on the car. And if you guys don't know too much about these R8s, that is the worst possible thing to not work on these cars because most times it's an engine out job, and I wouldn't do that. I had a friend who had an R8 V10, and he paid, I think, close to $3,000 to have his AC pump fixed. So thankfully, my AC pump works, and I'm really, really hoping it doesn't go out. Two other things I've noticed as I'm driving this car. One, you're really low compared to everyone, like very low. And two, this thing is a neck breaker. I mean, obviously it's a neck breaker, but I've had like 4 cars in the last 5 minutes pass by me and like honk, throw up the piece or the rock on sign, and I have the side that's all like multiple different colors towards the other side of the road. So everyone's seeing that the R8's multiple different colors, and still people are loving it. Oh man, I can't wait. Once this car is done, it's gonna be a good summer. The R8 made it to the body shop without burning down, which is a huge plus. So now we just wait for the body shop to get it painted. After just 1 week of waiting, the car is back from the paint shop. And as much as I want to show you guys the fresh paint on the car, first, let's get it put together. And by put together, I mean we first need to take it apart. We start by carefully taking off the big carbon fiber side blade, disassembling the lower quarter panel. This one piece right here is the only reason I bought this entire thing, because this piece was not available anywhere in the US. I had to buy it from the dealer from Germany. Kind of dumb. I hate buying parts from the dealer, but what can you do? In order to put on the rear bumper, we gotta take the rear section apart, including the lights. Next, let's take off the quarter panel so we can put on the air ducts for the air intakes for the engine. Because the engine is located in the rear, the side of the car is the only place the air gets into the engine. To get the quarter panels in place, you have to do it a little bit backwards, where you put in the lower one first and then the upper one, and then you have to swap places and get the bracket for the lower quarter panel in place. The bracket that holds the 2 quarter panels together was $112, so I was really careful to try and not break it. So the last 2 screws that hold this quarter panel in place are just around this corner here, but because this air duct is here, now I can't access those 2 bolts. So by raising the car up just a little bit, I am able to access, you can see it right there, bolt 1 and bolt 2. I'm gonna stick a 10mm in there and get it screwed on. Before we screw the quarter panel down, we're gonna check the fitment. We're gonna close the hatch and move the quarter panel in or out as much as we need to. That looks great. Next goes on the light. And on goes the carbon fiber blade again. We got this carbon fiber piece lined up as best as we can. I mean, the gaps look amazing. Everything lines up perfectly. The door doesn't scrape, opens and closes. Oh, wonderful. The time has come for the first modification on the R8, and it is this massive carbon fiber wing. I mean, look at how big this thing is. I'm 6'1". This thing's almost as tall as me. This thing is huge, and it is fully made out of carbon fiber. I don't know how well the camera can pick that up, but this whole thing is carbon fiber. In order for this wing to work, we have to take out the old wing mechanism, which was here. But now that we've taken it out, where the bolts sit, there are holes in the frame, and somehow we're gonna need to figure out how to drill holes in this carbon fiber wing to match up exactly where those existing bolt holes are. The wing came from the factory without any kind of indication on where the holes were gonna be drilled. So honestly, just shooting in the dark here. After drilling the holes, we've now found some screws. This one is gonna stay. That one is not gonna stay, it needs to be black. That one also kind of looks ugly, but we found some screws. We got some screws in place. We closed the hatch, and now we are gonna look at the gaps. So the gaps here are pretty decent. It gets kind of big here and then it gets tight again. But honestly, what do you get? This is what you get with carbon fiber. Nothing's gonna line up perfectly. I think this is as good as we're gonna get it right here. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna screw down these 3 bolts in the back, pop the hatch open, and measure out where the next bolts are. I think that was on the dot. Straight through to the screw hole. Love to see that. Another one. Bullseye, baby. Call it luck, call it skill, I don't really care, but we got the holes lined up perfectly, so let's throw these bolts in. Oh my gosh, look at that fitment. That just barely misses me. But that turned out pretty great. Look, a little bit of a tight gap there. I think overall it actually looks amazing. Wow. Look at that. Beautiful. The car's not done yet, but I can't help to step back and admire the beauty of this car. Seeing how far it's come makes me smile. Moving on to putting on the rocker skirt. Before putting on the side skirt, we need to put on these little brackets that actually hold the side skirt in place. Very grateful that the previous owner included these with the car because each of these are about $100. Once we got those brackets in place, we can put on the rocker panel. And then we put on the surrounding plastic pieces. Got the door panel taken apart, and before we put it together, we need to put in the speakers for this car. Now, the upper, smaller tweeter speaker, I was able to find that on eBay. I think it was like 50 bucks. Nothing crazy. But the big Bang & Olufsen mid speaker, I think is what it's called, I could not find anywhere. Only out of the country, and shipping was like $100, so it just wasn't worth it. They were over 200 bucks. This was $112 from the dealer. Brand spanking new. As you guys know, I try to do everything I can to not buy from the dealer. But look at that thing. That is a big sucker. Let's put it on. When we bought this car, it came in without a door panel on there. So we did not have a door card, we didn't have the window motor, we didn't have the speakers, we didn't have anything, which kind of sucked because we had to find the parts for it. But thankfully, we were able to find everything online. The bumper is finally back from the paint shop. I'm so happy to see it. It took a week longer to paint the bumper than it did to paint the actual car. And the reason for that is because this bumper is rubber, not plastic. That's right, a rubber bumper. This is the first time I've ever heard this. This is the first time the shop heard this. I'm gonna guess it has to do with the bumper not melting with all the heat, with the engine being in the back and exhaust being there. If you guys can remember, this bumper was cracked and the body shop was trying to fix it, and they were calling me like, Philip, we can't fix this thing. We have tried everything we can to try and melt this bumper down. and it's made out of some kind of urethane composite. So we can't actually melt it down to fix it. What they ended up doing was taking a bunch of panel bond, the stuff that holds the frame of cars together. They panel bonded a mesh wire on the backside of the bumper, bondoed the front end, and said, cross your fingers and be super careful putting this bumper on, because if the paint cracks, it is not gonna be good. Be extra careful, got it. Let's put this rear bumper together, starting with these rear grills. And they are real, genuine metal grills. First time I've seen metal grills on a car. These clip into place. I got 4 bolts that hold it in place. Next are the exhaust tips. Then we have these little wings that sit in front of the grills that also hold them in place. And just like that, we got the bumper all set up, ready to go onto the car. Got a little ahead of myself there. We still have to put on the carbon fiber rear diffuser. One unfortunate thing is that all the work that we just did on the spoiler, we have to undo. This spoiler, this upper bumper section, we have to take off to put the bumper on. So let's just undo that real quick. Again, being extra careful with this bumper, I got my brother to help me out and put it on. Once you get it in place, there's 2 bolts below the taillights that you're supposed to screw in place, and then a couple other screws that are very hard to get to, so I didn't film that part. We can put the spoiler back on and the upper bumper piece, and that is job done. Next, let's move on to the seat. We need to replace the old seat airbag and get the seat stitched up. Looking at the new airbag, there's only one spot where it could be held in place, and that's this little section right here. All the way in there. Yeah, you can't even see it on camera. There it is. That's it. Once that screw is out, you literally just lift this up and out, and the airbag is out. We're just gonna have to fish out the wire from the bottom. This is how much gap space I have to work with, and this huge plastic piece needs to somehow fit through there. Here you have no way of getting up in between. You have literally no way of getting your hands in between there. And then on this side is where the airbag wire goes. If you take it all apart, there's the wire right there. Goes through this little hole somewhere behind here, and then comes out here. I don't know how I'm gonna feed in the new wire, but getting out the old one is hard enough. The new one, that is gonna be a whole nother challenge. We got the wire through all the way, and what we ended up doing is actually hooking up tying a shoelace to this section. So now, when we get the new airbag on there, but we're gonna tie the new piece through, and we're gonna try and snake it through the same way we just pulled it out. This is the reason why I kept this off to the last second. I mean, I had to take these bolts apart and scoot this all apart. This is so much work for something that should not be this complicated. Oh my gosh, dude, it worked. No way, it actually worked. I've replaced seat airbags in the past, like on the 2023 Z, but it was not this complicated. Thankfully, the worst part is over, and we just gotta feed this wire back in, put the wire insulators back into place, and make it look better than it looked from the manufacturer. Next, let's throw on the emblem, measure it out. Yeah, that looks about right. Rear fender liners are next. I took this wheel off to put in the fender liner, but I found something I was really hoping I wouldn't find. Gen 1 R8s are known to have problems with their struts. They are optioned with this thing called MagRide, which essentially is fluid charged with magnetic particles. And when you hit the suspension button, it tightens up the suspension. It's supposed to help with cornering and whatnot. Well, the problem is that they usually leak. They all fail. It's not a matter of if it will happen, it's a matter of when it will happen. Now, because this part constantly fails, they're always being sold. There's always not enough of them out there, and they cost a lot. I mean, like $2,500 a single strut. Times that by 4, you're looking at $10,000 for a new suspension setup. At that point, most people just go with coilovers, and that completely solves the problem. My issue is not with the leaking, but it's the fact that it looks like my strut is binding right there. This top section moves up and down, and it's actually scraping on the strut. Not saying I personally go this fast, but this car is capable of doing numbers well over 100 miles an hour, and I would hate for the strut component to fail while going that fast. I haven't thought about what I'm gonna do yet. Maybe I'm gonna go the route of getting aftermarket coilovers. Maybe we'll get an OEM one. Haven't decided, but we'll come back to this. While we sit and figure out the solution to our strut problem, let's go get an oil change on this car. I checked the service history. It looked like this car was about 4,000 miles overdue for an oil change. And this car doesn't take regular oil. It's like 10W60 or something like that. So let's go to a shop and get it replaced. All right, the R8 has made it to Ratified. We got some pretty sweet rides here. I'm all about doing your own maintenance and working on your car yourself. But when it comes to doing an oil change on an Audi R8, they have 8 oil drain plugs. 8 of them, not 1, 8. And I don't have a lift in my shop. I don't really feel comfortable jacking the car up and then doing 8 oil drain plugs and possibly missing one. I can imagine how messy it would be without a lift. So, of course, it's a lot more convenient paying $250 and having a reputable shop get the oil change done. The R8 takes special oil, which is 10W60, and you can't just buy it off of the shelf. You have to special order it. And that is job done. Thanks, Ratified. The tires on the R8 are shot. Check this out. I mean, if you didn't know, you would think I'm running drag slicks. They are so worn down. I think this is the wear bar right here. I think that's the wear bar. You can see it's pretty much in line. So definitely need to get some new tires. R8s come stock with these tires, Pirelli P0s, and they are absolute garbage. If you read some forums on them, when they're less than 50% tread, they have no traction, and I can tell you from personal experience, there is no traction. So we are going with some real nice Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's. These are supposed to have really good traction. Most people recommended them. I guess we'll see. We're back and we got the new tires on the car. I am super excited. We got some nice Michelin PS4s. Gonna have a ton of grip on them. No more slicks, no more slipping and sliding. And the solution to our strut problem just showed up. I got an OEM strut. Now remember I said these cost about 2,500 bucks a piece. Thankfully I was able to find one that was listed incorrectly, but it is the right one. Comes with a 30-day guarantee. The best part, I got this thing for 220 bucks. The seller listed this under the wrong year for the car, but it is the right part. So let's throw it on the car, cross our fingers that this solves the issue. One hour later, the strut is finally out. To get this bottom bolt out, there's a very long bolt that goes through this sway bar. This bolt in here, that was difficult. And that was so much more complicated than it needed to be. It's honestly just 2 bolts. There's 1 bolt here and 1 bolt here. But how hard it was to take this thing out. I mean, in order to get those bolts out, I had to take out this tunnel, this air ducting tunnel. This was a challenge. To get the upper one that's there, the tunnel's in the way, so you have to move the tunnel out of the way to then get that guy out. And then you had to unclip the mag ride, but it's out. And by the looks of this guy, it's a very good thing we took it out. So obviously we have the binding issue right here. But then if you look all around it, it's leaking. You see all this dirt and grime? That means that the strut is leaking. So good thing we took it out and we are replacing it with a good strut. Hopefully the issue goes away. In goes the good strut. Now we can drive this car with confidence knowing that the suspension is not going to give out on us. Let's wrap it up with the fender liner. It has taken months to finish this car, and I'm so glad that we are finally wrapping it up. After months of hard work, the Audi R8 is finally finished. As awesome as this car turned out, it definitely had its challenges, anywhere from the aluminum frame needing to be fixed. Finding car parts was surprisingly hard for this car. The mag ride struts needed to be replaced. There was a bit of a learning curve with the airbag system on this car. There was a good amount of stuff that needed to be figured out. But we got it all figured out. We worked through it. And now you guys know how to rebuild an R8 when it comes to your turn. Honestly, if you have the opportunity to either rebuild or purchase an Audi R8, I highly recommend it. It's worth every penny. It is so much fun. It is such an awesome car. You get the best compliments from people. You meet cool people. You enjoy the car. It sounds incredible. There is nothing to hate about this car. I've been playing these R8s on the auction for 2 years because I was looking for a very specific spec. This one being a 2015 model, it's got the DCT transmission. It's the last year of the first gen. This one's the full carbon fiber package, fully blacked out. It's got the facelifted headlights and taillights, not to mention the full titanium exhaust. When you step on it, this thing sings. I am so grateful I got the opportunity to build this car, to drive it and enjoy it. If you get the chance to buy one, do it. This car is worth every single penny. Thank you guys for sticking throughout the whole build. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. There's bigger and better builds coming. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.